In this lecture, we are going to discuss importer obligations. We will talk about due diligence, compliance, documentation and record keeping, reporting, and cooperation with authorities. You'll notice that a lot of these obligations across the other AI operators are very similar. Regarding due diligence, importers must verify the system's conformity with the EU AI Act. This includes the conformity assessment, technical documentation, including instructions for use, CE marking, declaration of conformity, and that an authorized representative has been appointed. Concerning compliance, the importers must provide the trade name, trademark, and contact details. This must be on the system, packaging, and documentation. They must ensure that storage and transportation does not jeopardize compliance. And if the system does not conform, the importer may not deploy the system. The system must first be brought into conformity and then deployed. Concerning documentation and record keeping, the importer must retain a copy of the EU Declaration of Conformity, as well as its certificate and instructions. The importer must also ensure technical documentation is available to regulators upon request. Concerning reporting, when a system presents risk to health, safety, or fundamental rights, the importer must notify the provider, the authorized representative, and the market surveillance authority. And finally, concerning cooperation with authorities, the importer must provide authorities with the required information and documentation and cooperate with requested actions. In this lecture, we went over importer obligations. These include due diligence, ensuring that a conformity assessment has been completed successfully, procurement of the technical documentation, including instructions for use, ensuring that the system has the appropriate CE marking and declaration of authority, declaration of conformity, and that an authorized representative has been appointed. Other issues concerning compliance: the importer must provide the provider's trade name, trademark, and contact details. The importer must ensure that storage and transportation does not jeopardize compliance. If the system does not conform, it must be brought into conformity before it is deployed. Concerning documentation and record keeping, this involves retaining a copy of the EU Declaration of Conformity, certificate, and instructions. Technical documentation must be available to regulators upon request. And if the system presents a risk to health, safety, or fundamental rights, the importer must notify the provider, authorized representative, and MSA. And finally, importers must cooperate with authorities as required.